circle. Hi, Meredith. Circling. I'm so happy to have all of you here. Everyone.
We're not going to see you for a month.
Yeah. And then reversing. Meredith, will you be able to see me?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah,
She'll be fine. All right, and then, so, you know, we have this kind of this thing going up, stretch and strength. So let's go ahead and start out where it's a stretch, and we'll go to strength. So your right knee, you have your feet ahead of you, bend your right knee, reach the arms up, and we'll do a stretch forward. So you're reaching, you might have to use your strap as you reach for your foot. Lowering your head and especially reaching your right hand to the outside left leg if you're not using a strap. And then we'll reach the arms up and there's a twist. So turning towards your bent knee. And the straight leg is active, so really firm up your thigh. And I often do that by flexing and looking back. We come out and the strength then is, you can do reverse plank if you want. I'll do that second round or tabletop. So the fingers, I always say fingers in, some have to turn the hands out, that's fine. Press feet into mat, lift, look up at the ceiling or tilt your head back. And what I'm really thinking about is like tightening through the glutes, getting a nice tabletop. Yeah, good. And then release, come down, and we'll do second side. So left knee is bent this time, right leg extended. And just make sure your right knee is pointing up. Reach up, inhale, exhale, reach forward. So either reaching for your, using a strap or reaching the outside foot, lowering your head to or towards your knee. From time to time, lengthen your spine. And then when you exhale, go a little deeper. And then let's reach the arms up, extend, and then exhale and twist. And there's yours, and you're a complete group here. So you're turning, moving from navel, moving from heart center. And then we're coming out and we've got reverse plank. So again, if these don't work for you, you can always bend your knee, you can always come to bridge. Okay, so hands are pressing in and lift and point through the toes. Good. Lengthen the spine and breathe. Great. And then releasing, coming out and rolling out the wrists. Okay. So we'll come onto our backs, and as you come onto your back, think about like you claw your hands in a sense, and then you take your arms behind your knees and hook your hands together. So once you hook your hands together, you could rock or simply push your knees out against your arms. You've made a binding. It's very nice because that with that binding, you can really stretch out your back. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and take the legs up in the air. And you're pointing, flexing, and point, flex. And then hands are behind the head, and you have some strength here where you're lifting and you're contracting your abdominals. Maybe you don't need to support your head, so you reach your arms up. And then when you reach your arms up, you can also go to one side. So it might be that you can get your lower shoulder blade up off the mat, come back to center and across the other way. And reaching, good, coming back to center and pulling knees into chest, just taking your head side to side. And bridge is a good blend of both the stretch and the strain. You're pressing up. I always feel it as a stretch, but I also know that the glutes are working, the back is working. Let's have clasp hands, tuck shoulders underneath you, and do activate your thighs, your glutes. Breath in. Exhale. Let's see your best bridge. So you put effort into this. Good, and then releasing and coming out. And once again, the hands this time are on your knees. You have a back release, so you circle. You take the knees together, knees out to the side, circling, just warming up your hip joints. And next time your knees are together, reverse the movement. And then from here, the legs are up in the air. And we can take, we're going to start out like kind of simple, where you can have your hands on your back or not. Hands could be at the side. And all you're going to do is keep your back down and lower your right leg and just let your right leg hover above the floor. And if you don't need your hands under your back, then your arms could be up in the air. And you're just kind of like hanging out in limbo here, trying to press your back down into the mat. And then the leg comes up, inhale. And the other side, left leg comes down and you just kind of hang out, really trying to press your lumbar down and breathe. And then the leg comes up. The difference here will be that you're going to lift your head, and it might be that you have to support with your hands or your arms are up. Right leg comes down, trying to connect your back to the mat, holding. And then again, if you need to rest it out, you rest, and some get really tired in the neck. And then go ahead and do the other side when you can. Good work. Woo, you guys are strong. And go ahead and come back to center and pull knees right into chest. So what I'm going to suggest is a shoulder stand. And you might say, I can't do that. Maybe neck doesn't allow it, in which case you've got a block underneath you. And what I would like to do is hold a minute. And a minute doesn't have to be long, but a minute, it can be a long minute or a short minute. So it's just really how you feel in the pose. So legs in the air, pelvis block underneath is going to be easier. Taking your legs up, you're going to resist looking left to right. You're going to try to tuck your shoulders underneath you. And what happens in shoulder stand, Sarvangasana, I feel this anyways. I come in full of energy. I'm like, whoa, feels great. Within seconds, everything's sagging to the ground, going, and I find, oh, I have to work the pose. I have to work continuously. So it's roughly a minute because I can't see the clock and I can't turn my head. So breathing. Now, some of you might want more challenge. And if you want more challenge, what you could do is bring your hands, if you're in shoulder stand, you take your hands to the mat. So your hands are not holding you up anymore, your muscles are. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Did you fall? We got the whole class laughing here, those of you online. We had a few tumbles. And then release, come on out. All right. And I did warn you. Okay, so arms could be an I surrender or a diamond. And guess what? You've got everything's okay now. You have windshield wiper, life is good again. Take your knees side to side. And just take a moment. That's pretty funny. And then from here, it's always good to open the throat, to release the throat. So I'm going to suggest a few ways. One is that you roll a blanket, bring it underneath you. You could lie over a bolster or lie over a block. So the blanket is probably, like if you need it to be super easy, it's long along your spine. A little more is it's across your back, and a block is good too, right? But some need a block under the head. I don't want your head to just hang. I personally really love the block, but I don't know, I know everyone's got a blanket or towel on hand, so especially those who are at home. So you're extending, and fish pose is, you know, especially when you have a prop under you, it's a stretch. It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. You feel open, your lungs, your diaphragmatic area open, everything is like the front of your body feels free. This helps to correct posture, helps to open, release the throat center. I'm going to suggest, some of you are really happy here and you're like, oh no, I want to stay a little longer. You may, or you could take whatever it is underneath you away and you could come into fish pose without any props. That one requires a little more strength because you have to hold yourself up in it. So what you do is you slip your hands under your pelvis. You try to straighten your arms. Palms are flat. The legs extend. All my weight is on my wrists, actually. And then I push, my body weight on over my hands. And then you lift your upper body, you tilt your head, and you bring your head back until you touch down. So the top of the head touches down and you're in fish. And again, you can see how it's an opening, but the only way you're getting the opening is by, one of the ways is by activating your back and pushing elbows into the mat. You got it. That's nice, yeah. Yep. All good. Happy. Everybody's in fish. Eyes are open. And then release. Free your hands. Good work. And just roll out your wrists. That should be really good. Let's go ahead and go into happy baby. Hold your feet. Go wide with the knees. These are the nice warm-ups. Good. Breathing in. Exhale. And then from here, we're going to make our way up to sitting and then on to hands and knees. Good. So I haven't done these in a while. That I guess they're called clamshell, right? So what we're going to do, and it's all slow motion. So that's my left knee facing class, facing camera. So my left knee comes out, and then you flex your ankle and you kick, and you hold, and then you bend, and you bring the knee back. Okay. I've heard it called dog at fire hydrant. How's that? Yeah, so, okay, that should like kind of fire imagination. Okay, come up. Kick, that part is very, that's yoga right there. And then bend and come in. Same leg, 3 is the charm. Come out, hold, flex your ankle, kick, hold. It's really hard. I mean, my whole body wants to kind of shift over opposite and then bend the knee and drop down. All right, second side. That's my right leg coming up, hold, flex the ankle and extend, hold, bend, come back to center. Second one, up, kick, hold, bend, and leg in. Third one, up, kick, you're holding, bend, and come back. All right, and then you've got Hatha asana. You can have a blanket under your knees. Bring your head down, your tailbone way up high, stretching into your back. And breathe. Feel like your upper body is like a sliding board for children. No, I tend to, the question was, is it okay if knees should they be apart or together? And I kind of have them, they're close, but not all the way together. I guess that be it. So, all right, so from here, let's come back to downward facing dog. And a stretch on back. Take a moment to feel the stretch to your legs. You could pedal, bend one knee, press opposite heel down, moving back and forth. Yeah, and then we'll walk forward. And when you walk forward, have your feet together, soften the knees. And then you're going to take, soften your knees a lot, kind of dropping down and taking your arms back. And I'm kind of testing the springiness of my legs. Your arms are going to sweep down, touching the mat, and you'll come up, inhale, lift, arch back. These are going to be slow movements. Drop down and keep your knees bent, reach the arms back, and then sweep the arms down and up and lift upward. And again, down. This time, straighten your legs, lower your head, take your arms up, 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 away, like your fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. Bend the knees, drop down, and come up. Okay. And then now the feet are wide. So I would say like about mat distance apart. Just this little bit. Feet a little wide, and then you drop down. So you're trying to engage your core, drop down, and then push heels into the mat and arch back, look up, hands are spread wide. Engage the core, drop down, and stretch. So there's a combination of there's strength, your legs have to be strong, but there's a stretch, push heels into the mat, look up, arch back, and last one, exhale, drop down, and then press up and upward, good. And then hands up to heart center, good. We have eagle coming up, different parts to eagle, okay? So let's do this one where the more like classical pose. So you could bend both knees. Your right, it's my right, I'm not mirroring it. The right leg over the other. You could always use a wall if you need to. And then it's your left arm on top of the other. And you wrap. Can you bring your elbows to your knees? And then come on up. Bring hands to heart center. Bending the knees, the second side. So you bend, people forget to bend. They try to wrap with the leg straight. And then your left leg comes across the other. And your right arm on top of the other. And you wrap. And breathe. That's good. And who knows, can you lower and take your elbow to the knee? And then coming up. Good. And releasing. Hook your thumbs together behind the back, roll the shoulders back, look up, lift. Good. And release. All right. So trying to think of how to adjust, how to orient myself. I think I'll be here. All right. So we're going to start out. We're repeating. So it's your right leg. Again, you're going to bend both knees. Yeah, I'm at the front of the mat because I'm going to be moving. Okay. So it's kind of a little repeat. You take your right leg over. And your left arm on top. And again, maybe you can drop down. And what's challenging for me is then coming up. And then we'll take the right leg back. Think of like coming unsprung. And you go fairly wide. So now, yep, now Meredith is front row here. And then you're going to bend your left knee, bending. And looking, it's warrior two, it's power pose. So you're going to look past your left middle finger and breathe. And then reaching back, right hand back, left arm coming up. And a side bend movement, so modified elbow to knee or deeper hand to ankle, extending top arm up. Come up. And then you have warrior one. So all I did was I'm still on the same side, but I have to really adjust because now I've got to have my hips squared and arms are up in the air. And then from here, we're going to lower. Use blocks if you need to. You're going to walk forward. It's okay to use a block, and it's kind of like a variation for you on warrior three. And instead of hip up high, you're squaring your hip, which is a lot because you have to be strong and flexible in your standing leg. Good. And it's up to you. Maybe you can bring your hands to your heart. Balancing. Maybe you can bring your hands back by your pelvis. And then come to standing at the front end of your mat, hands to heart center. Breathing in. Exhale. So I'll move to the other end of my mat. So we're going to start out bending the knees. Now it's your left leg that comes around. So it's your eagle. You've been here before. And then your right arm over the other. And I like that. So hug the shoulders if that's better for you. And then lowering. Can you lower a little bit, maybe even our elbow touches knee? And then coming up. And let's swing the left foot back. Undo the arm, so it's like coming unsprung here. Go a little wide so you can bend your right knee. Good, extending. It's such a joy to like be able to see, you know, like, because I've been teaching online so long, and this to see, I can, you know, I see, so oftentimes online, I can see half of you and your feet. I see your feet or see your head. But here, yeah, real people moving, breathing, making sounds, grunting. Okay. And let's look past the right middle finger and breathe. And then let's go back, just reach your hand back, top arm reaching up. And then over, so extended side angle, you can make it a little easier, elbow to knee or hand to ankle, and taking top arm, reaching it up. Come up. And then now I have to turn. So just to turn my head isn't enough. I have to kind of shift. I'm on a double track, bending the knees, taking the arms. Let's just do our warrior one first. Reach the arms up. And then arms out to a T, left arm on top of the other, wrap, lift upward. And then unwind and come forward using your block or reaching mat, the floor. And again, once I'm here, I notice how my hip wants to, my raised legs hip wants to come up. So I'm squaring. And that might be it. Or I can take hands maybe to heart center. Or arms moving back. You can have your back ankle flexed or toes pointed. Traditionally ankle flexed. Yep. And then bringing your hands down, your feet are together. Sweep the arms up. Inhale, reach up. Arch back. Lengthen. And we'll separate the feet, come down into a squat. And of course, modified or all the way down into your squat. I can't see spots. I've learned to read eyes, though. Smiling eyes are good. See, I can hear someone has their online, someone has their mute. You're not muted, so I can hear your dog. And it's more, we hear it less in here, but they online, they can all hear it really, really loudly. So let's come back to plank. And once you come into plank, feet are together. So I no longer have the ability to mute. That's so funny. And there you are in plank. Woo! Strong. Breathe in. Exhale. And then you're going to drop down on one elbow and drop down on the other elbow. Oh boy, there you are. In plank still. Breathing in. Exhale. I hope some of you are happy with this. And then drop down, or you'll be happy tomorrow when you feel stronger. Okay. And then drop down, and there you are in Sphinx. And some of you can extend your arms, tops and feet down. And then lower and bring your forehead down. Just take a moment here, breathing in and exhale. So swimming crocodile is next. And we'll just see, I know I have to move my mat a little bit. I'm kind of close to the wall. So we'll just do it in parts. And I would say that my mother-in-law does online yoga, and then she writes a report afterwards, and she says, I really don't like that swimming crocodile. No, I'm not doing that again. Yeah, I'm like, okay, Ann, you don't have to. So that's los osos. So alrighty, so let's try it and then at least just try it a little bit. So I like to have a little padding underneath me. The first part is your legs scissor, go out, in, out, in. Now, how do you do that? Your legs have to be straight. You have to kind of push against the sticky mat. You're trying to lift your legs. Mine don't lift very much off the mat, but they're straightened and my knees are off the mat. Toes are pointed. Release. Now we do the upper part. Arms are up overhead. When you lift, if you're not real strong in your back and you're kind of worried about your neck, you're going to look down, but somebody can look forward. And then take the arms out to a T. And then back and lift. Again, if you don't lift very much, looking down is going to be easier. If you look forward and you're okay with your back or your neck, good. And then come back and lower. Woo. Relax your whole body. We're going to do the upper part one more time. Inhale, lift. Go back. Like I'm trying to modulate my voice so it's like fun. And then lift and come back and lower. You might say, oh, I bet she's going to put these together, which we are. And you could just say, you know what, I'm going to do half. I'm going to do my legs first, and then I'll do my arms. Or you'll do two along with me where you work in tandem. All right, so let's try. Your arms are up overhead, your feet are together. Lift feet, arms, head. Just keep your breath moving. You're like Superman, Superwoman. And then take the arms back and separate your feet. You could touch the sides of your legs. And then come back, hands, feet touch, and lower, and I always say, and dive to your mat. Just, whew. Let's try that again. Lift, and separate.
Sounds like a little Rob commercial.
And pause, and come back. Oh, you don't know what you're missing not being here. You're missing all sorts of really good comments. Okay, so you're up there with Annie Gray, with my mother-in-law. She's lift, back. All right, let's come back and stretch up your spine. Lengthen, lower your head. So it's strength. It's a lot of strength. Alrighty, so on this next one, I would say I would like to do this first from downward facing dog and then from plank. If downward facing dog is hard enough, you'll stay with that. So it's a core strengthener. So you're in plank. I think you can do right along with me. You've done these before. And then come back downward facing dog, maybe walking your feet in a little more. Your right leg swings up into the air. Your right knee starts to bend. You shift your shoulders forward, so it's like a plank. And then you bring your left knee towards the arm above the elbow. And then kick the leg up in the air. And we'll do second side, right leg up in the air. It's all kind of slow motion movements. Move forward to plank, bend your right knee, and take your right knee to the upper arm above the elbow, or something like that, right? And then kick the leg back, slow motion, get a stretch, and lower. That's repeated, or you come to plank. And you're going to stay where you're at as you take your left knee forward. So you're not going to shift your pelvis, not shifting your arms, and take the leg back. Now, second side, other knee forward, reaching, and back. Good. Knees down, reach your hands to your heels and rest your wrists. You can make fists if that helps you, move your wrists around. And pigeon. If pigeon pigeon doesn't work for you, someone's saying yay. So if pigeon doesn't work for you, you know that there's always coming on your back and threading the needle. It's more gentle, okay? If it works for you, it can come from hands and knees or from downward facing dog, whichever leg works best for you. If you want to start right, you do that, or start left. It's like habit, isn't it, to start right? Yeah. Lifting, mask and all. Reach, and some of you are already lowered on your elbows, head down. So there is something that happens in your yoga session. I know it happens with me. You come to a pose and you know, there's clearly poses that are more challenging and clearly poses that are what I call chocolate poses. This one's chocolate for me. When I'm in it, everything seems good. Everything is, it's a happy time, like it's good, you know. And then I do one that is more challenging, and you know, you watch your reaction to it, and so much about kind of trying to cultivate that equanimous mind, or you know, knowing the benefits of each pose, knowing, oh, this is building my stamina. Well, this is challenging because I'm tight there and I'm weak there, that sort of thing. But it's a learning platform. When we react to poses, we can learn from that too. Take another 3 breaths. We are going to come to half spinal twist. So you're coming over to your right, so the left leg is free to come around. And if you're on your back, you could come to sitting. And my guess is if you did a modification, you could straighten your right leg. And then we twist. So left knee on top, right arm up, opposite elbow, opposite knee, twist, and look back. Yeah, that's fine. You'll keep track. Oh yeah, because I didn't specify. I never specified left or right, so you're good. You know, in the beginning. Yeah.
This is a pigeon leg, right?
Yep. Okay. Yep. The pigeon leg, that's so great. And then we're going to release and we'll come to side 2. So come back. Some of you are coming onto your back. Some of you are coming all the way back and stretching in downward facing dog. When you're ready, the other leg will come forward. Or I think for many of you, it's your left. And then, yeah, there you go. But you'll know, won't you know? Wouldn't you know if you're doing the same side twice? I would. Some poses I don't know. Some poses are identical, but I rarely see that pigeon side 1 and side 2 are identical for people. It's interesting. Let's do 3 more rounds of breath here. And we're gonna start to roll onto the hip, right, that's down, and then you reach across. Those of you who were on your backs, my guess is that it's your left leg straightened this time, okay? So wherever you're at, I think many of us, so you're, yes, you do the opposite, exactly. I'm keeping tabs on you. Okay, reach up, opposite arm, opposite knee. There you go. You have to accommodate your breathing in the pose, so you kind of find yourself coming out slightly on the inhalation and deepening on the exhalation. Good work, come on out. And then we're going to come back. Now we're making our way forward. So first I would say downward facing dog, so you can really stretch out your legs. And then walking towards the front mat. Softening the knees as you make your way up. Extend, palms touch. And then hands are to heart. So pyramid and revolve triangle, those are kind of like my medicine poses. they really are, but I know how good they are. I also understand why they're challenging for me. So, you might want your blocks or not. You don't have to have it. So you're going to have your right foot forward, left foot back. I don't know. I think people think, well, if my legs are closer in, it's going to be a little easier. I think it's more intense. I don't know. So, just see where you can be on this. Pelvis is square. Bring your hands on your pelvis and see that. Maybe you don't have a mirror in front of you. Those of us here do, but online you can certainly feel, right? And then reach your arms up. Take your hands behind the back. You could clasp hands. You could bring your hands, like some bring their hands, the clasp, or you could bring your hands in Anjali Mudra and try to bring your hands up your back. And then lift. And start to come forward. Go to the halfway point and really feel like you're activating your forward leg, your right quad, forward leg's quad. And some might, at this point, you might keep your hands where they are and bring your head towards your knee, or you bring your hands down to the blocks. There's 3 heights, or hands all the way down to the mat. So more classical is that the hands stay behind the back and your head is down. It's down, reaching for your knee. Your feet are definitely in a double track. It will give you more balance. And then we start to release the hands. Walk your hands over to the outside right leg. So you could use 2 blocks, you could use 1 block, you could use no blocks, okay? For some, this is it. This is as far as you go on the pose. We're coming to revolve triangle, and here's what I would say. Use a block, and you could twist towards your right, towards your forward leg. To make it easier, you could bend your knee. You can just make this the twist of your choice, okay? See what works for you. And eventually taking your right arm up in the air. and then release. And come on up. Woo. Let's go wide. You could face, so yeah, anyway, like you're gonna just come wide and come to horse. Yeah, I have another side, but I like this kind of really strengthening. Interlace fingers, press palms up and see if you can be a little more upright. Breathe in. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale. Oh, and come on up, and we have the second side. So we'll step forward, and this time it's your right leg back. And remember what I was saying, I think forward makes it a little more intense, so let me go back. I don't know, find the place. Clasp hands or bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Anjali means offering. You lift your heart center. What do you offer to the world? What do you offer? Lift your heart. And then start to come forward. So think about activating your forward legs, thighs, your quads. You could pause at the halfway point, or you can lower your head to your knee. And of course, this one, and keep your hands where they are, or you can take your hands to your blocks. And maybe you don't need your blocks, okay? And breathe. Let's walk the hands to the outside left leg. Stretching, lengthening the right side of your torso. And then from here, a twist. So of course you can always bend your knee, bring your knee down, make the twist easier, or it's revolved triangle. Right hand could be on a block or on the mat, and left arm coming up, and breathe. And let's release out. And then when you come forward, we'll go ahead and step forward. And we're going to step wide again, anyway, either way, left or right. And heels in towards each other and drop down. Interlace fingers, exhale, and extend your arms. And 2 more rounds of breath. Pushing up, stepping to the front end of your mat again. Hands are to heart center, and then just think about breath here. Sweep the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And exhale. We'll come to sitting. I'm going to suggest Virasana. So like when I sit on a block, and if that doesn't work for your knees, you could always sit on 2 blocks, or you could just sit regular way. That's the investor had like 3 blocks, I think, under him. Yeah. I learned a lot about using props from Nestor. It was great. It was really great. All right. Knees are comfortable. They should be comfortable. So it's called Thunderbolt Pose. And what you do is you interlace fingers. You keep thumbs, index fingers extended. And there are different ways. There's pushing up, but then there's that one that I just showed, the mudra direction. And your arms extend. And you want a little bit of a, like there's a little space because you're drawing your shoulders down, but your arms are squeezing the sides of your head. And take a breath here.
So your arms are active.
They're very active, yeah, like kind of squeezing in. And so my tendency is want to hike the shoulders up, but I'm trying to bring them down. You got it. Yeah. And I like that. Some of you have blocks, some of you don't need blocks. So down. And then releasing. And from here, we're going to come onto our backs. So we're getting all cozy here on our backs, pulling knees into chest. You just were sitting, you know, with the knees compressed and just stretch out the legs, point and flex, legs are up in the air. And then lower the legs and extend the legs one by one. And find yourselves really settling onto your backs. And remembering this, remembering this sense of believing in yourself, right? And really knowing your capacity and your capability, trusting that, and trusting your body's ability to heal itself, to always like this little checking in and renewing. Scan your body. Relax your skin, your face. Taking time to feel balanced.
to feel the effects of this meditative art, this meditative discipline, yoga. Okay, just ever so slowly start to deepen the breathing. Starting to move the hands and the feet. And then as you are ready, you'll roll to one side and make your way to sitting. You can turn your audio video on, those of you online.